stream for ages, but I know it's had that long. Yoga strap, blanket. If your balance is challenging or challenged, you might want a chair nearby. That is a better alternative to having to move all the way over to the wall. We're gonna start on the back. We're gonna get some good hip work in today. And we're gonna start with what we call stop dragging my leg around. So that means Lisa's been broadcasting too. She's started broadcasting this morning, chair yoga. I was so nervous because I made such a mess of this place. And then I texted her and I'm going, I'm not a very neat person, and FYI. And she wrote back, well, for your information, I know that. And I was like, oh, great. Thanks. Okay, we're going to take our yoga strap, whatever you got. It's going to be around the upper right thigh. Let's say I am not mirroring you. You could certainly have a blanket under your head. We're going to cross the strap and then drop that right foot down really far. And you're just going to let your legs circle. So I'm just going to feel that leg bone kind of sinking heavy down into the hip. And then we'll reverse the direction. And then we're just going to warm up the core a little bit. This one is probably familiar. You're going to take your right hand on your right upper thigh, and you might just try to relax that right shoulder, maybe pull the elbow and the shoulder down towards the bottom of your mat. Push your hand to your thigh, thigh to hand, tighten your belly, exhale, and then release on your inhale. So pretty familiar. And door number 2, you're probably going to want to keep your belly tight as you toe tap your left foot down, if you want to go to that. And you get to start exactly where you feel like you're at today. So if you haven't been moving much and you want to start chill, please do. And then let's take that left foot down, right foot down. We're going to take our strap around our left leg, cross it, relax the leg, stir your leg and your hip joint. You want to make sure that you have that left knee really bent. And then you could go the other direction. And just kind of imagine that top of your leg bone just sinking down into the hip joint. And then we'll move to our core work. Strap comes off, hand on the thigh, push, resist, and feel some engagement in your abs. Exhale, and then release on your inhale. Again, you might want to think of your left shoulder and elbow pulling away from your left ear. And then if you want to add the other leg in, you're going to toe tap. You might just want to push, resist, and tighten the whole time. So I'm modeling taking the foot all the way down, but I want to remind you that the foot doesn't have to go all the way down because it's more important that you stay really engaged. So if you kind of lose it when your leg goes all the way, then maybe not so far. Right foot, left foot, open the legs on the inhale, Baddha Konasana, and then halfway back, exhale. So we'll just go straight into this guy. Inhale deeply. Remember that image of your inner ribs, feeling like you're expanding from the inside out. Exhale, halfway back. Yes, we are going to keep going. Let's bring the legs all the way up. If you have something under your head, you're going to get rid of it. And as you just kind of set your feet up so they're maybe like a large orange, small grapefruit distance away from each other, we're going to pitch into the feet ever so slightly. We're going to be doing some bridge. And some options that you have, if you have room and you don't have pain in your shoulders, your arms can come up as your torso lifts. You could also keep your arms down. That may allow you to feel a little more control if your arms don't come up. But your breath in is your lift, and your breath out is going to be your lower. Still feeling like you're aware of the inner ribs inside of your rib cage, the shape of it, expanding it, widening it as you lift and breathe in, and then allowing it to contract again as you come out. We're going to add something that we explore a little bit in here. So we're going to take our legs into Baddha Konasana. And generally, you're going to go with whatever all the way open is, and then lift yourself. Inhale. Bring your hips all the way down and bring your legs halfway back. Exhale. So you go all the way open. As you breathe in, you're going to lift. You're going to come all the way out and halfway back together. Maybe you stay up and bring your legs halfway back. Stay up and take them all the way wide. You don't have to remain up here if it doesn't feel good. This is one of the ones where you kind of want your pubic bone quite a bit higher than your belly button. So another way of putting it is keep your ribs dropping towards the floor. You don't want to be jutting them out. You want to keep kind of a zipping up sensation in the front. See if you can lift your hips even higher. Lots of good glute work. Sometimes people get hamstring cramps. I hope that's not the case. And then we're going to come all the way out We'll bring our feet to the floor. We're going to tip over onto any side, and we're going to end up on our hands and our knees. So now's a great time to get a blanket if you are working on a hard surface. So possibly one of our favorite low back stretches. I didn't really mean to match the yoga mat today. So we're going to bring, I am mirroring you now. The left knee is going to go back a couple inches. Press into the ground. Inhale. Let your tailbone move back towards your heels. So you can stop at any point, particularly if your knees hurt. Or you're just going to go all the way until your hips stop. And we're going to let the upper body walk over to the right. So this is going to feel like a stretch for hopefully the left side. One way to work with this is to draw your left armpit more to the ground. You could even walk more over if that feels good. And then we're going to come back up. We're going to walk the hands forward in line with the torso. And we're going to float that left leg up. So we are bent in the knee. And I'm not going to lift my hip so much as my leg. So I even want to feel almost like I'm rolling that left hip down. Push into the ground with your arms. Pick your right arm up and take it forward. Continue with awareness of your abs. Take a breath in. If you like, try reaching back and grabbing onto that foot. Once again, the knee could come higher, but not the hip. You could push the foot into the hand. Some people may find that interesting. Keep breathing deeply. Take an inhale, and we're going to take everything back down, exhale. Then we'll have our right knee back. A couple inches, we'll take a breath in. We'll move into a one-leg back child's pose. Exhale. And you're letting your upper body move over to the left, maybe drawing that right armpit down. It kind of changes the stretch. One isn't wrong or right, it's just different. And then we're going to come up. Hands under the shoulders. Right leg's going to float up. Knee lifts, but not the hip. Push into your right arm. Take your left arm forward. Maybe you reach back and grab onto that foot. We'll take a deep breath in. We're going to let everything return. Exhale. And I'm going to invite you to come into a child's pose, or if you prefer, downward facing dog. Letting the thighs reach back, the heels reach back. My mat has lost its stickiness. Better. And if you're just in child's pose, you can have that same awareness your spine lengthening. And then let's meet on the knees, and we're going to come up to a standing position. We are going to use a strap. I am thinking, I didn't try this out beforehand. It just came to me. Sure, that'll work. Okay, so this one is familiar as well. I'm not going to ask people to do the loopy-loop. I mean, you could, if it feels within your capability. The loopy-loop just means that you have the strap wrapped around the little finger side of your hand, and you can pull out against it without gripping it. If you don't do the loopy-loop, you're going to have to grip it. Grip it? Yeah, that's how it works. Either one is going to work. You will want a small orange distance in between your feet. So this is where we keep our arms straight, and we allow the arms to slide forward so the shoulder blades broaden, and then the arms to slide back so the shoulder blades come together. Particularly if you have the loopy-loop over your little finger, you'll be able to pull out on it, the strap. So pulling out is going to add a little bit of some rotator cuff muscles. Not a bad thing at all. And then if you just want to add another more stuffy stuff to this, you could do this from an Utkatasana. So your hips are going back and down, and you're going to reach your arms forward and then pull them back. I wasn't quite sure about this, but I think it works. So in Utkatasana, you're just going to want to keep pulling your ribs up off of your thighs. So you don't want to end up down here. You want to keep your hips down, but pull up your ribs. So it should feel like a little bit of core work. And then, of course, if you want, you can slide your arms forward and then lift them. And then bring them down and relax them. So you don't have to stay in this lightning bolt pose if you don't want to. You can keep pulling out on the strap to create a little more work. Let's go ahead and come all the way up. We're going to get rid of that strap for now. And if you know that your balance is tricky, you're going to get a yoga mat. No, you're going to get a chair and take it over onto your, so if I want you to start with your left, okay, onto your left side. So I'm hearing you. So this is where if you're on a really thick substance, like a, that sounded a little gross. If you're on like a really thick blanket or something, or a carpet, excuse me, it might get a little harder. So just know that. Today I was doing some balance and I stepped off my mat because the combination of the carpet and the mat made it just really challenging. So we're going to bring our weight onto that left leg. So that's our starting point. Nothing else has to happen. But what I'd like you to think about is maybe how you might want to sink, but instead you're going to pull that left hip in. And then we're going to pick that right leg up, maybe. So chair's there, whole time, need it. Don't hesitate to use it. I'm circling my ankle because I love the cracking sound. And then if you want to do a tree, and tree can be done in a lot of different ways. And probably the easiest way is to turn the toes out and set the toes down. You could also take your foot below your knee. You could take your foot on above your knee. 1 to 2 hands can come together in front of the heart, and you want to feel like your chest is lifting up to your thumbs. Hold on to the chair as much as you need to. So you're going to keep squeezing that left hip in, as opposed to letting it shoot to the left. I'm always telling people to look at something that's not moving. So here I am trying to look at the computer, and that's not working very well. Okay, come out, take a break, or we're going to go straight into the one-legged standing lotus. So there's a couple options for this. The easiest is going to be to set your foot over your upper left thigh, bend your left knee, and drop your rib cage onto that ankle. Little more strain on the knee, possibly, and the hip. Is to grab onto that right foot with the left hand and kind of pull it up to your hip crease, and then drop that right knee down. So if you need to turn around so you have the left hand still available, nobody's watching, probably. Either way, you want to feel like you're dropping that right knee down. And continuing to be upright, hold that left hip in, take a deep breath in, come on out, whoa. And we're gonna go over to our second side. So here we are. And as you bring your weight to your right leg, pulling your right hip in, elongating your spine, picking that leg up. Or not. So here is a great place to be. Here. If I had some nice Velcro, no. I just can't get my leg to stay up. Okay, here. That's Karen calling me. Finding tree pose, keeping that right hip pulling in, and then you go to here, which is probably the easiest. So from the side, that's going to look like this. If your knee is up for it, and everything else, you have a straight standing leg, and you're gonna pull that foot up to the hip crease. And either way, you wanna think of the left knee dropping down to the floor. And then let's take a deep breath in. And we're gonna come on out. Holding on to something if you need to. We're bringing our toes onto the ground. We're just gonna circle our foot. This doesn't have to be really precise. Doesn't have to be right. You're just kind of rolling over the mounds of the toes, trying to get a little movement in your ankle, in your lower leg, in your upper leg. And then go the other direction. So I've been reading some really good books that I wanted to tell you guys about. I think they all fall under the category of dystopian. The one that I got totally engrossed in the weekend and I couldn't stop reading, Never Left the Couch, was really nice. Other leg, toes, whatever you got, circle. It was called Followers, and it was really good. And then before that, I read one called The Warehouse, which was uncannily it could be something that starts to happen in the next year. Go the other direction if I forgot to tell you. And then of course, putting in a a plug for the book called Station 11, which I told people to read when I first read it, which was probably about 3 or 4 years ago, maybe. Maybe it was longer than that. It's about a pandemic. It's an excellent book. Not as morbid as you would think. Okay, so cheers going away. So I highly recommend it. Followers, I think, is new. It's by somebody named Megan Angelo, I think. We're going to do some upper body work, planks, and planks can be done on the knees. If you think you might be doing planks on the knees, you might want to have your extra cushion if you're not working with the carpet. And remember, you can sit these out. These can be done on the forearms. It changes some of the other things we're going to do, but it's not impossible. So wherever you have found yourself, you're going to press the floor away. We're going to keep the chin dropped down and into the throat. So not the head, but the chin, so that the back of the head is kind of reaching up to the ceiling. We're going to take one leg back, toes under, other leg back, toes under. Here is where your knees could come right back down if you want. If you can stay here, do. And you're going to think of dropping your tailbone, but pulling your belly up. This is where you could go. This one doesn't work if you're on your knees, just by the way. But you could rock a little forward and back. And then we're going to come down, knees, we're going to sit back, unweight your hands, and we're just going to do a few of those little kitty fingers. Round number 2, hands under the shoulders, one leg back, toes under, other leg back, toes under, pushing into your arms, dropping your tailbone, coming in, if you'd like, onto your right arm, and coming into Vashisthasana. I've crisscrossed my legs. That's a way easier way to do this. Bottom knee can come down. Stacking your feet becomes a little harder. Rotate your ribs up, pull your pubic bone forward. Take a breath in, dropping that top arm. We're going to move. Second side, I'm facing away from you. Push into the floor. Twist your ribs to the ceiling, pull your pubic bone towards your nose. Take a deep breath in, turn forward, plank, knees down, child's pose. We've got one more wild and crazy option here. Oh yeah, whatever, let's do it. Okay, you can totally sit this one out. This one can't really be done on the hands and the knees. You kind of got to be in side plank with your legs up. Why should you try to do it and fall over? That would be quite engaging. Okay, one leg back, other leg back. Push into the floor. Come onto one arm. So here, you're going to slide that top leg up if you want into something tree-ish. So now you've only got one foot on the ground. Wow! See, I told you. It's very hard to talk and focus at the same time, which is largely why I try not to practice when I'm teaching. Kind of hard because I want to be able to demo for you guys. Okay. If you were able to successfully do that, take your other foot down, turn down, roll to your second side. So that top foot can just kind of slide up the top, bottom leg, inner thigh. You've lost one limb here on the floor, so it does become more work, more balance. And if none of you are doing this, you could just be doing your regular side plank, or resting. When you're done, we're going to be seated. You're going to want a yoga strap. If you're tight, you might want more than one blanket or something high. So I'm not going to assume that anybody has a bolster, but if you happen to, that would be a good option. We're going to end up kind of taking up some space here, but it's going to be totally great and fun. So we're going to start with our left leg straight. Line it up with the long edge of your mat. Yoga strap. Some people won't need this. If Nadia's on, she doesn't need it. Barb is on, I don't think she is, but she doesn't need it. But my hope for you is that if you are somebody who, when you forward bend, I think most of you guys know this, but right now, I don't want you to do this. I want you to keep your back straight. Shoulders up, down, and back. And then with the back straight, you're going to walk down. So we're going to lift up our ribs like we're lifting them up and out of the pelvis. And then walk down our strap if we have it. I can't see you guys, but I'm pretty sure that if Nadia is doing this practice today, she doesn't need a strap. She can keep her back straight and hold on to her foot. Rest of you guys, probably going to want the strap. Sorry, I was trying to do a quick mental inventory of everybody who's in the class. So keep lifting your ribs, maybe walking a little more forward, pulling that left big toe, little toe, back towards your face, reaching your heel out. It is possible to move into a rounded back. If you have a back injury, I'm going to say maybe don't do it. However, at any point, with or without the strap, you could allow your upper body to fold, and you're going to move over to the left. So whatever you want to do there as far as bringing yourself forward, but as you move to the left, you're going to end up with one half of your chest on one half of the thigh, and the other over the other half. This is going to move the stretch considerably down towards your right low back, which is why it could be a little tricky for some people. And then we're going to walk back up. So this next transition, a little weird, left leg. If for some reason you don't have your left leg, it doesn't matter that much. But just know that this front one is your left one. You could even write a big L on it, just joking. Okay, so we're coming into Baddha Konasana as a transition, because from here, we're going to send our right leg back and come into a pigeon. So the left leg is the forward one. Pigeon can be done with significant elevation under your left lower buttock or upper left thigh. Right leg could get kind of straightish and reach behind you. And then you could come forward. So I'm trying to not kind of be over here. I want to pull my hips so they're square to the floor, which may mean that my left hip is way, way up in the air. So I'm going to come down. And I know I've told you guys that probably a ton, but if you allow your left foot to come a little more forward, you may all be exactly where you want to be and no farther, but if you brought your left foot a little more forward, it will be more stretch. So if you widen out this angle. And then we're going to walk in and walk up. And we are going to, I've gotten totally cattywampus on my blanket. But we are going to bring that right leg forward. So whatever you need to do to readjust yourself, right leg's forward, Janu Sirsasana, yoga strap, no yoga strap, line your leg up with the edge of the mat. Lasso. Okay, so we're gonna inhale to lift up our shoulders, roll them down, walk down, walk down, walk down. Pull the right little toe more towards your face. Reach your heel out. Start by keeping your back really straight. We'll have the option of messing with that. I'm going to put out a plea for anybody who knows what a woman does with her hair when we're in lockdown. If anybody has any good ideas, let me know. Because what if this goes till June? My hair is going to look really, really, really bad. I can't even see very well right now, actually, because of my bangs. So you can come down more if you want, only if your back doesn't hurt. I mean, if you know you don't have a back injury. You don't have to keep holding the strap, but you're going to move over to the right. So this becomes a forward fold with your back rounded. You might keep lengthening your ribs up and forward and down. So you keep getting longer down the front of your torso. And then let's come back up. We're going to move through Baddha Konasana as a transition. And then it will be your right leg in front as you take your left leg back. So if you want some cushion, a lot of cushion, maybe a lot of folded upness under your right upper thigh or lower buttock. So I'm going to walk my left leg back, maybe more in line with my midline, and then come forward. You might keep reaching your ribs forward. Maybe you widen that angle. And then let's walk back slowly. And we're going to end this particular series in Baddha Konasana. So once again, my blanket is totally whacked. So here we are. Baddha Konasana. Flesh of the buttocks behind you. Hands could be grabbing onto the little toe side of your foot. And you could be kind of opening your foot out like you're looking at a book. You can keep reaching your ribs up to the ceiling. Maybe you come forward. Knees are reaching outward, or reaching down, but if you think more out, that tends to be kind of do the same job, ultimately. And then I hope Jill's on. Sorry. We're gonna do Jill's favorite exercise. Okay, we're gonna bring our knees up. So I'm gonna say get off a blanket if you're on one. I'm going sideways. You're gonna come back and balance right behind your sit bones. Please note you don't want anything behind you in case you might fall back. So rather than be one long straight line, we're gonna be more of a C shape in our spine. We're gonna take our arms out. We're gonna do something totally un-yoga-like. We're gonna try to keep our torso really still, but wave our arms around in the air in chaotic patterns. So your torso is letting you, your core is hopefully keeping your torso still. I'm sure we could do some interpretive dancing. Okay. Let's just try reaching our arms up to the ceiling. Maybe a little more behind you. If that's too much, don't do it. Take a deep inhale breath. Reach your whole rib cage more up to the ceiling. We're going to exhale. Bring our feet down. We're going to be on our back. Familiar things, I believe. Lungy twisty. So blanket under your head if you want. We're going to widen our legs. And we're going to tip one leg all the way over. Does it matter which one? Nah. Yeah, nah. Okay. Push your hip up to the ceiling and into that foot. You might explore tucking your tail a little more. Then let's come on out slowly, and we're going to switch. Push down, lift your hip, tuck your tail. Okay, this one's familiar, but this is the one where it's possible that your shoulders are not going to be happy, so if you have something extra to put under your arm, so whatever foot is the one pressing down, the other leg falls open. All of this is lungy twisty all over again. This is where I think you can still see all of me, but I don't trust it. But Heather's like, yeah, we can see you. You don't have to adjust. So this matching arm is going to be in a right angle. So this becomes a chest opener, a stretch for this pec minor muscle. And you can think of that, if this is easy for you, that elbow is going to be reaching away from your torso. If it's not easy, you're going to want to put a lift under your arm so you don't have pain, because we're going to stay here for a few more rounds of breath. And it may be that you feel more in your shoulder now than you do your hip, as it has just become the thing making the loudest noise. I think it depends. Some people may not feel anything at all in their shoulders if you're really loose. And then we're going to come out slowly. We're going to lower that arm, and we're going to switch. So the matching arm is in a right angle, a goal post, if you so desire. And you're going to push into that foot, tuck your tail. That elbow of the bent arm could be reaching out to the side. And then we're going to come out slowly. And the next thing we'll do is take our arms and extend them up to the ceiling and interlace. So we're going to point our pointer finger. This is Bondro. We're going to reach up, turn, point up, turn. So I'm going to say, what if you inhale as your torso turns up to the ceiling, and then exhale as your torso spins to one side. So everything's kind of going together. It's one unit. Shoulders, head, arms. And then we're going to point up and we're going to let our arms release down. We're going to do just a few more things on the stomach. Next, we're going to work with Shalabhasana, locust. And I'm going to face you, but there was no buts. Okay, we're going to start here. Palms are facing up. When you're ready to take a breath in, you're going to float up your chest, your arms, your legs. And then come all the way back down and exhale. And we'll do that again. Inner ribs expanding as you lift. Most of the 4 o'clock people probably know what they're doing, but remember you could watch before starting at any point. Here's where we might try to go, is come up and stay. Take an exhale. I realize not everyone's working with a lot of room, but if you can inhale and sweep your arms forward, do so. Stay up and exhale and sweep your arms back. Keep pulling your belly up away from the floor so you feel supported, safe. Hands under the forehead. We're coming out. Coming onto the back. We're getting ready to move into what's going to be a long Shavasana with some Yoga Nidra. So we're going to move a tiny little bit still. But you're going to want any props that you know you're going to be more comfortable with. So anything under your knees, chair under your knees, blankets under your knees, blankets over you, blankets under your head. I will have everyone start with knees to chest. We're going to use an inhale to release our legs a little bit away. Exhale as you pull them back. Pause. Inhale, legs away. Bring them back in on the exhale and a very small pause. Next time you bring your legs Without lifting the head, let your chin drop a little more down into your chest. If you have a lot of lift under your head, that's going to feel a little different. When you're ready to inhale, you release your legs. You can relax your neck. But then when you bring your legs back in next, you're going to let your chin pull a little more down into the throat. Kind of like you're trying to press your nose into the base of the skull, and then release. One last time. Knees in, back of the neck long. Exhale, pause. And as we let the legs go, we're going to set the feet down. Now's your time to get really cozy. And just make sure you're warm. I know some people have animals that help them in their practices at home. I think my cat's been living indoors now for 5-ish years, maybe more actually. I have never been able to get her to sit on my lap. I can also not pick her up either. She has some other redeeming qualities. So when you get yourself situated, see if you can just kind of pull your shoulders away from your ears and a little under you. So there's a feeling of openness through the collarbones, the chest. And then I'd like you to imagine what you want most in the world as having come true. You're going to imagine this thing as having happened, and then you're going to state it to yourself in present tense language. So if you were hoping for an end to world hunger, you could state to yourself that everyone in the world has enough to eat at this moment. And then you're going to allow your awareness to be on your mouth. And now's the time when you could open your mouth and take a big yawn, let go of any tension that you're holding in your face, in your jaw. You're going to be aware of your cheeks, left and right. You're going to be aware of the nose and breath as sensation as it crosses your nostrils. Tends to be a little cooler as it enters, warmer as it leaves. Try to experience the muscles of your forehead and around your eyes as being heavy. Feel that they're stretching, broadening, softening. You might be aware of your left ear, both the inner and outer portions, and then the right ear, inside and out. And just feeling everything in your scalp, muscles, bones. Maybe you can feel that they are softening and growing more heavy. And then be aware of your whole head as sensation. So all of the head, physical sensation, radiant sensation. And then your awareness can be on your left arm, and you're aware of the shoulder, the armpit, the upper arm, elbow, forearm, the wrist, the hand. And notice any sensation you're feeling in your left hand. You might feel a tingling or a throbbing or a vibration. And then you're aware of your whole left arm as sensation. And then your awareness can be on your right arm, starting with your shoulder, your armpit, your upper arm, elbow, forearm, wrist, right hand, any sensations in your right hand. The whole right arm. Awareness now moving to the torso, and I'll have you visualize again, experience again the insides of your ribs, be aware of your belly and your low back, your pelvis, the whole torso. Let your awareness move to your left leg, your hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle and foot, all of your left leg, right leg, hip, thigh, knee, calf, ankle, and then the foot. And then all of your right leg. And then you're going to allow all of these sensations to become one global body sensation so that you are aware of your whole body. Your whole body. And you might sense now the places where your body is making contact. So depending on what props you have, you may be contacting with the back of the head, tips of the shoulders, parts of your back or buttocks, some parts of the thighs, heels. All of these points, focus on them. All the meeting points between the body and the floor or the body and a prop. Awaken a sensation of heaviness. So feel, if you can, that your body is growing heavier. You might imagine that it's filled with some really dense, heavy metal. And so it sits more heavily on the surfaces that support it. Sinks more heavily down. The body is heavy. And then you're going to try to awaken a sensation of lightness in the body. So maybe you feel that the body becomes less heavy. So light, you might imagine that your body is being filled up with some really light substance like cotton. So you don't rest hardly on the surfaces below you. Almost float. The body is light. And then you're going to return again to that sensation of heaviness. And then lightness again. The body filled with cotton, or some really airy material. And then allowing this awareness to go, I'm going to have you become aware of your breathing and feel like you're stepping into the rhythm of your breath. And following the inhale up to the top. Pausing. Following the exhale down to the bottom. No pause. So we'll work with awareness of the inhale, a pause, and an exhale. And then what comes next is kind of a virtual, I don't know if that's quite the right word, but anyway, you're going to work with your nostrils in awareness, not in actually blocking one. So when you're ready to take your next inhale, you're going to focus on the left side of the body and the left nostril. And you'll still be breathing in through the right, but you just want your attention to be on the left. So you're going to follow your inhale up to the top, pause. When you're ready to exhale, you're going to focus on the right side of the body and the right nostril. We're going to come back to the left to inhale. Always aware of the left nostril and left side of your body as you breathe in. Always the right as you breathe out. Incorporating that little pause at the top. In between the awareness of breathing in on the left and breathing out on the right. And you're just continuing. Awareness on the left nostril, left side of the body as you breathe in. At the top, you're going to hold your inhale just for a sec, and then switch your awareness to your right side as you exhale. When you next focus right, exhale, let your breath relax. Notice your awareness and notice everything moving within your awareness. And try to experience yourself as the unchanging presence that holds that, contains it, pervades it. The unchanging presence at the center of it. An unchanging presence in which everything is constantly changing and unfolding. Thoughts arising and dissolving. Everything arising in you, arising and unfolding within you. Start to deepen your breath. When you're ready to start moving your body, you can tip over. We'll end up seated. And then whenever you're ready to take your next breath in, just letting your palms float out and away, and back together in the exhale in front of the heart. Namaste. Hey, I'm so glad you guys are hanging in there with me. Kind of gives me a purpose to my day. So yeah, I know you guys might have a lot of time on your hands, so you might just be binge watching Netflix. But again, those books are Followers, The Warehouse, and Station 11, which you should read if for no other reason because it's about a pandemic. And there's some eerie moments in the book that, you know, my mind has kind of gone back to a couple times in this current climate. So yeah, if you read them, send me a message. Let me know what you thought about them. I will see you guys all soon. Maybe Wednesday, maybe Thursday, maybe Friday. Okay.